Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll see several modern women lamenting and crying for Chad to come back. We'll also hear one of the most absurd claims ever made by a woman, stating that all men are or will be rapists. Yes, you heard that right. The Wall isn't just approaching, it's leaving consequences behind. If you enjoy this content, leave a like and subscribe. We're on our way to 150,000 subscribers, and with your support, we're going to hit that goal. Share your experience or opinion on these cases in the comments. And without further introduction, let's get started.
It has been nearly 5 months, and I am still dealing with the aftermath of a very abrupt, a very blindsiding, a very cold cutoff of a breakup with someone that I really loved. I just need to say this because I use TikTok as a diary now. It really sucks when you feel like you have worked through a lot of hard things and trauma, and someone comes along and the repercussions of their actions really affect you to a point where you feel like that you're backpedaling with all the work that you've done. Please be mindful of where you are at in your own personal healing journey, because if you take on other people when you still have unhealed wounds, you are bleeding on people who didn't even cut you to begin with.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Now everything's a trend. Girls crying on TikTok because Chad left them. Since when did filming yourself talking about your ex become therapy? What I see is that many have figured out that crying in front of the camera gets likes, so they jump on the heartbroken girl bandwagon, even if there aren't any real tears. And let's be clear, if you've truly moved on from someone, the last thing you'd want is for them to see you crying online. Those kinds of videos scream, "Look at me, I still miss you," like a public hint hoping someone close to him will tell him. That's not healing. It's emotional marketing with a hidden agenda. What do you guys think?
Yes, all men at some point are rapists.
What?
Most definitely the grandfathers and the older men, the ones that, had 10 kids.
Okay, you just stated that all men are rapists at some point in their lives. But most definitely older men with more kids. I mean, is there a most definitely chart on how someone can be a rapist? Or do you realise that you're talking shit?
You think grandma wanted to just continually do that?
That's your argument. Because no woman ever enjoyed sex, ever. No woman ever wanted kids, lots of them. Or even women wanting to benefit from having kids. I mean, we just chalk it down to all men being rapists. Are you okay?
And what you don't realize is coercion is rape.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's the first sensible thing that you said, but then you said this.
So when you're sitting there and every single man has done this to at least one woman in his life, I'm assuming you've done this on multiple occasions.
So not only are you making an absolute absurd allegation to a commenter that is disagreeing with you, you are claiming that this commenter that disagrees with you is a multiple rapist, whilst at the same time claiming that every man ever has been a rapist. It's the sexism, it's the bigotry, it's the misandry, it's the false accusations. You need help.
That you sit there and go, "Oh, please come on." And she's like, "No, not tonight. No, not tonight. I'm tired. I have a headache, I don't want to." And you continue to coerce her until she says, okay, and then just rolls over and lets you do it. That is considered rape.
Oh, wow. So she's got two things right in a train wreck of a video. But here's the thing. Don't disbelieve that men don't hear this stuff too. You're not much of a man because you don't want to get jiggy with me. You must be gay. If you don't do it, I'll find someone else that will. Coercion happens with men and women, and whoever does it, no matter whether you're a man or a woman, you're a dick, and yes, it's rape. But as someone who's experienced it myself, I won't just assume that all women are rapists. And no, I've never done anything that this ridiculous lady is claiming, and I assume most men haven't. What an absolutely absurd video.
If a woman in the comments is a mother to a boy, or has a brother or a living father, does she consider those men in her life to be rapists, or that they will be at some point? Because radicalized feminist women like this are the reason men today are afraid to approach unstable women. It leads to women like her having a virulent hatred toward men without any logical reason. I've come to think that the lack of intimacy in some women is messing with their heads. Since no one is doing the job for her, now she accuses men of being rapists, because it's hard for her to believe that a woman can actually enjoy being with her husband. That's why I think it's harmful, brothers, because there's no one keeping these women in check. They hit the wall bitter because the wall doesn't forgive.
Is it seriously that hard for a man to keep his eyes off other women or to stay loyal to his own girl? Because when I tell you, I cannot unsee the girls that I found in his phone. I cannot look at this man the same. I don't believe his words when he tells me I'm the most beautiful girl to him. How can you tell me all this but your search history says something? How can you say I'm your type but you're following? They look nothing like me. And then men want to call us insecure for bringing up the problem to them. And then they want to make excuses of why it's not that big of a deal. If you're in a committed relationship, you shouldn't be following all these girls. If you really want to make your partner happy, you shouldn't be liking these posts. When you men send that like, that follow, you are actively showing that woman that you have some type of interest in her. And coming from woman to woman, being a girl's girl, we already know that. We know that like you just sent wasn't a, oh, I like the background. It was a, I like what I'm seeing. If you really love this woman you're with, there should be no excuses. There should be no backing up another female over the woman that you're with.
You might have a point, but there's a phrase I really like. You're not separate from the time you live in. These days, there's no social media platform where you're not bombarded with sexualized content, even if you're not looking for it. You can clean up your algorithm, and it'll still throw curves and bikinis into your feed. Why? Because that's what sells the most, and both men and women fall into it. And of course, they say men are the ones chasing models, but a lot of women are posting their own suggestive content while they're in relationships. If a girl hits 50,000 followers, you already know what's coming. The infamous blue app. It's funny how loyalty is demanded while flirting with half the internet for attention.
Can we talk about the uncomfortable phase post-breakup where the person that either you broke up with or they broke up with you is on your mind 24/7? Truly, from the moment that you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about what that person's doing to the moment you go to bed. And then when you're driving, it's like, oh, you only see the cars that they drive. How does that even work? There were not that many of this particular kind of car on the road before, but now I'm seeing them everywhere. And maybe this is just my obsessive brain, so please tell me if it's just me. But I'll also be like, oh, it's this time. Like, oh, they're going to work. Oh, it's this time. Oh, they're getting off work. Because I know their fucking schedule. And it's also that phase where you like check your phone constantly to see if they have texted you, even though like you have no contact, but you're still like checking your phone. Like, what if they reach out? What if? But also you're just adjusting to your phone being quiet. But I think that's one of the weirdest parts of a breakup is then your phone suddenly feels very quiet. I've also been in that phase where like anytime anybody tells a story, it could be about something completely unrelated, and I somehow tie it back to that relationship or my breakup. Like somebody could be talking about going grocery shopping and then I'll be like, oh, but one time we did this with this grocery. Like, I'm pretty sure if you're my friend right now, you probably want to tell me to shut the fuck up. But that is a part of the grieving process. And I do know that as more time goes on, those thoughts get less and less and less. And you think about that person less, and suddenly you don't see their car on the road all the time, and suddenly you're not thinking about their schedule, and suddenly you aren't checking your phone as often, and suddenly your desire or that longing for them to reach out, even though you know that's not what's best for you, like that kind of goes away, and then you kind of start to remember who the fuck you are and why you even ended it in the first place, and you realize, okay, that shook me a little bit, but you know what? I'm better because of it. So if you are in that mess right now, girlfriend, you are not alone. Ride the wave, but make sure you're picking yourself up off the floor the entire time and you aren't stepping backwards in your self-respect or your boundaries. Feel all the feels, but don't act upon it. Do not do anything. Just feel it and know that this will pass.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
This woman is describing is called the confirmation effect, or also known as availability bias. This cognitive bias happens when, once a person focuses on a specific idea or object, they start noticing it more frequently in their surroundings. Which means this woman is still fixated on her ex's life and hasn't moved on. So yeah, better get some therapy, because that Chad clearly left you traumatized.
If you are wondering why you are still heartbroken and why you are still grieving that person's absence, I'm about to tell you why it still hurts. Because believe it or not, it's not necessarily their absence that hurts. It's not necessarily they didn't stay that hurts anymore. It's not that they couldn't meet your needs that hurts anymore. Although those certainly are components of the pain, what really is triggering you and what really is keeping the pain from leaving is the fact that they could not see that all you were trying to give them was love. What isn't often talked about is that when we ask for our needs, in some way, it is also us giving that person love, because in asking for our needs to be met, we are saying, if you can meet me halfway with these requests, then I can show up for you in the ways that you need me to as well, to be a good partner for you. And instead we paint needs to be this selfish, transactional ask. What is keeping you stuck and hurt is that you cannot accept that what that person couldn't see is that all you were trying to give them was love. What is keeping you heartbroken is that you are assigning those requests and those presentations of love the weight that you perceive to be dictated by that person's decision to walk away. You are not a burden and you are not too much. If all you asked for was your needs to be met and that person could not see that that was also an act of love from your behalf to give 100% as you wanted them to give 100% for it to be an equal reciprocal relationship, you deserve better.
I don't know what kind of relationship she had, but based on how she tells it, it sounds like she gave it her all and painted him as the villain of the story. That he didn't meet her emotional needs, that her love wasn't appreciated. It sounds more like she gave herself completely to someone who never wanted anything serious with her. And we all know that kind of guy. The one who takes her on an emotional roller coaster, who offers no stability or commitment, but still keeps her hooked. The typical Chad. The problem is, many women keep choosing the type of guy who only wants them for one night, instead of going for someone who actually wants to build something real. Then they cry when it doesn't work out, but they didn't even choose someone who was on the same page to begin with. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about these women who record themselves crying over a man? Have you ever had a woman accuse you of being a rapist just because you and your wife have kids? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.